why do you think that it was like, it's okay to laugh at this one? Why do you think that I mean, it's a moment in the film that a lot of people talked about because it played so well, but it was also kind of like, you know, you think, was that okay? Why was it okay? And he had an interesting answer, but I'm curious of what your take was.
Well, I think everybody relates to Ray. You know, because Ray is so kind of coy and awkward, you know, when he poses the question, you know, well, you know. So I think people respond to the curiosity that Ray has and the awkwardness that Ray, you know, poses the question. But then you've got Kumail, and it's like, okay, he's from Pakistan. Let's hear what he has to say. So I think it's very dangerous, and it makes people feel giddy.
Well, the movie opened in June, and it scored a whopping 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. And it has made more than $50 million at the US box office, which for an independent film, I mean, that's a massive, massive hit. How rewarding was it to get the responses you got out of Sundance and to have it come out in June and this played so well, people love it, people are talking about it, and now here you are at SCAD Savannah Film Festival.
Well, you know, making movies has a certain amount of mystery to it. I mean, I never know what movies are going to connect with people. And The Big Sick is a little bit of a surprise in a way because it is such a small movie. It was made for no money. We made it in Brooklyn. I don't know, it just felt very humble. Most of the scenes are in a hospital. There's nothing really showy about it. It was a huge undertaking for Kumail. It was the biggest role he'd ever done. You know, there were a lot of kind of first-time elements to the movie. It's Mike Showalter's first real feature. No, it's not his feature-length directorial debut, but he'd never done a movie remotely like The Big Sick. So, you know, it's an incredible cast, and it felt incredible with this cast. I mean, I had tremendous affection for everyone.
You know, I've always wondered, you know, just watching your films over the years, like, not just emotionally, but physically, the way your appearance changes so much when you do a film. What was it that made you want to become an actress in the first place? Was it a performance you saw, maybe you did theater, whatever it was that made you go, that is what I was born to do?
Well, I didn't grow up with a tremendous amount of television, but I remember watching Susan Hayward. She was fun. Actually, I think Susan Hayward did okay for herself. I think she, you know, got a few Academy Award nominations. Maybe she won an Academy Award. But she was somebody who I really enjoyed watching. Highly melodramatic, a 50s style babe. But you know, why you act is it's an unknown. I mean, it was just something I did in high school, and I really connected with it. I mean, as soon as I came on stage, I felt a hookup with the role, with the story, with the audience. I mean, it was just, it felt good.
You know who else you connected with? The Coen brothers. Raising Arizona. Oh, by the way, let's hear for Raising Arizona. I'm just gonna go out on not too far out on a limb here and say 1987 was a pretty good year for you. Raising Arizona, broadcast news. But first, Raising Arizona, like what was it like to work with the film Coen brothers so early in your film career like that?
Well, I think, you know, I got a little spoiled because I started out working with preeminent directors. So I thought that's how it was. You know, that's what the relationship was between a director and an actor. And a director and the story. Now, as I've, 30 years out, I realize just how rare it is. We were just talking backstage about that me and my family went and saw Wonderstruck, and as soon as Wonderstruck begins, as soon as Wonderstruck begins, it's like, wow, Todd Haynes, I'm in the hands of someone I trust, a director I trust. So my career was front-loaded with trustworthy directors, and that is not always the case. And you have to kind of, make your peace with that. You've got to choose, you've got to navigate your own way down the road carefully, because everybody is not going to take care of you the way that Joel and Ethan Coen can, or Jane Campion, or Jim Brooks. In the case of The Big Sick, I felt tremendously taken care of by Mike Showalter and Judd Apatow. And for that, I'm incredibly grateful, because I understand and appreciate how rare that can be, and the amount of expertise and trust that director has for his or her actors.
We talk about discovery a lot during this conversation, and I feel like the movie where I, as a movie lover, a cinephile, discovered Holly Hunter was Broadcast News. Jane Craig, what a fully realized, complex, dynamic character Jane Craig is. How long before filming started did you get that role?
How long before it started did what?
You got it pretty soon to when filming started, right? I mean, did you get the role 2 days before filming started?
Well, Jim, was casting the movie for 9 months, and he couldn't find this character. And I had friends who were auditioning for it that didn't get it, and then 6 months later, it had still not been cast, so they let the floodgates open, and I went in. And Bill Hurt was there, and then I was there for 2 hours reading. We read the entire script, Bill and I. And so when I left, I was like, wow, oh my God, my life, this could be a real incredible event in my life. And then, a couple of days later, I got the role, and then I started rehearsal 5 days later.
Because you just nailed it. What was it about that character? The way it was written, or maybe a conversation you had with James L. Brooks, where you just go, maybe you thought to yourself, maybe, I got this. I got this character. I know Jane Craig. Because you just got it.
I don't know. I mean, probably that's the most scared I've ever been before a project, was because it was really kind of the first. I mean, Joel and Ethan were friends of mine. They wrote that part for me, so that was a whole different entree. Whereas Broadcast News, I felt that I might not be able to do it. I mean, I was really scared that I wasn't going to be able to do it. Whereas now, sometimes I feel that way. Oh, maybe I'm not going to be able to do this, but it's a familiar feeling of failure. So you make friends with failure and you go on. But then it was really like a deer in the headlights kind of, experience.
You have 2 Emmys. Tell us about Roe versus Wade. That was a brilliant film and a brilliant performance, obviously, because you won an Emmy for it. What was it like to grasp that character the way you did?
Well, that was, Roe versus Wade. It was once again, that was 1988, and I felt very strongly about, being a pro-choice woman, and that it was a really important thing. I wanted to be part of it, and I responded to her sense of alienation with her own life. Norma McCorvey was somebody who, was not a stranger to trouble, and there was something about her that I felt, a kind of kinship with. And then Positively True Adventures of the Alleged Texas Cheerleader Murdering Mom.
Thank you for saying that.
I was getting to work with, once again, one of the preeminent directors in American cinema history, Michael Ritchie, who was absolutely one of my favorites. And so I felt an immediate connection, an immediate hookup. That was the first time I'd ever read a script where I got to like page 6 or 7 and I was saying all the dialogue out loud because I wanted to hear it in the room, because I wanted to say it. I wanted to be the one to say the words. And so I felt an immediate possessiveness with that character. And she was just nothing but fun.
You know, the piano, what kind of preparation? The preparation that you had to do, you understand you learned how to play for the movie, play piano for the film. You are doing a performance where you won an Academy Award for a character that has no dialogue. What were those challenges to pull that off the way you did?
Well, I was afraid because the physical challenges of doing the piano were steep. But I knew how to play the piano, so I had to learn the pieces. I had to create a sign language that was a made-up language, but that I did with an ASL teacher. So, but I had some nice prep time. I had 3 months to prepare for the piano. So, but I just kind of worked from the outside in, you know, trying to be as much of an expert in piano sign language, and then I would just kind of go from there and see where it landed.
What is it like to make a Pixar movie? And by that, I mean The Incredibles. Yes! All right! I love that movie. 2004, Brad Bird directed it. Okay, go. What is it like making a Pixar movie? And you know, like it's a process, and it's like they obviously know their shit. It's really incredible.
Well, I mean, it would look, we're doing The Incredibles Part 2 right now. And I have such a great part. Oh my God, my part is so great. You know, it really is incredible, and it's so much fun to work with Brad Bird again, and I feel really lucky that Brad is doing this one, the sequel, from the ground up, because he's kind of a genius. So it's been nothing but fun to be in a recording studio with him and kind of playing opposite him, because Brad kind of plays all the other parts and I work with him. So we've just been having a blast for the last few months, you know, doing it.
Last question is, you know, for the members of the audience, you know, here in Savannah, SCAD, what kind of advice could you give to the aspiring filmmakers, the aspiring actors and actresses who are with us today?
Stay off your cell phone.
Stay off your cell phone. That's actually really good advice. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Holly Hunter!